going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So in this one, we're going to be talking about AMC, the chart, on what we're seeing on this 4-hour time frame. We are having a pretty solid day so far, and we're still looking very solid on that 4-hour time frame that we like to talk about on this channel using 1348. And again, we also have to take a little bit of a look into the short interest data as well. But what I really want to talk about with you guys in this little update here is the situation kind of surrounding BLACKROCK right now. It appears as if they have decreased their position by a little under 50% in AMC. We're going to break down exactly what this means in relation to, well, institutional share lending. If this is going to hurt us going forward, are other institutions going to back out? Is this going to be something that's going to hinder the price action going forward, lowering the amount of buying pressure? All of those questions we are going to be talking about. So again, before we get into all of that information, if you do enjoy the information and analysis that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And again, if you do want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And if you wouldn't mind leaving a comment down below on what you think and what your kind of opinion is on the price action, what we're going to see on AMC going into the rest of this week and headed into basically the share dividend that we're going to be receiving over the next few weeks. So let's get into the chart right here and kind of take a look at what we're seeing. So remember, we've been talking a lot about that 13 EMA on this 4-hour time frame, and we are finally seeing a rim. Now in yesterday's video, what we were kind of going over was, yes, we came down to that 13 EMA on that 4-hour time frame. And usually what we see with AMC when it does this is it likes to bounce off of that 13 EMA. It does what we like to call a rim in our group. But we had CPI data this morning. Now, CPI beat expectations on both month over month and year over year by about 0.2%. So the market did rally a little bit, kind of helping AMC come back to the upside. Now, going forward, we are going to be getting the producer price index data tomorrow, which is kind of going to be another metric of inflation if you guys don't necessarily understand what that is. So we're not quite out of the woods yet with some of this economic data coming that could overall influence the market. But we are kind of getting there because after this, we don't have a Fed meeting this month, that could cause even more volatility. So looking at this chart right here, again, very similar price levels. We are looking to see if we can break that 27.50 level, if we can really get going back to the upside. Again, to the downside, that 13 EMA on the 4-hour, that $22.13, $22.12 level right there. And again, if we slip below there, then we're kind of looking at that 48 EMA. And again, guys, if you do want to join us in there, we are very close to releasing Invictus and Pythagoras. Those two absolutely awesome algorithms. And in addition, you're going to get the algorithm. We already have Trader Joe, the fastest alerts on over 450 stocks on multiple different time frames, cryptos, all 55 private live streams every single month. That's where I'm live streaming now. And you're going to get all those learning curriculum videos as well. So if you guys are interested in that, taking your trading to the next level, that link is going to be down below. But let's kind of get into a little bit of the Ortex over here and just kind of see what we're getting here with AMC right now. So we have 17.35% estimated short interest, 126.86 million shares on loan with an average cost to borrow of about 8.88%. So, or again, Ortex is not really going to tell us all that much. All it really tells us is that, yeah, the stock is still shorted. And the way that we're kind of going to be able to figure out if it's not still shorted is if we see a drastic move to the upside. So I wouldn't really kind of stare at the Ortex data all day long. But again, it is a helpful tool to kind of check in on once a day, just kind of see, okay, to what degree is the bare minimum short interest that's being reported? What is that number? And that's 17.35%. Now, let's kind of get into this BlackRock situation here because it is pretty interesting. Now, we do have to define something first before we start talking about this, and that's going to be what a 13G filing actually is. So a 13G, as we're going to take a look at a little bit on Investopedia, is a filing that these large institutions have to make to disclose a position size in a company greater than 5%. So when we come over to 13G right here, the Securities and Exchange Commission Schedule 13G form is an alternative filing for the Schedule 13D form and is used to report a party's ownership of stock which exceeds 5% of a company's total stock issue. 13G is a shorter version of Schedule 13D with fewer reporting requirements. But if there are any significant changes to these 13G filings, you do have to kind of notify the regulatory authorities within about, I believe it's 10 days after the end of the month that those transactions actually took place. Now we have one for BlackRock here, and when we come over to this filing, let's kind of go over this a little bit. The SEC, a lot of you guys were sending me this, so let's kind of take a look at this right here. So when we look here, so we're gonna see AMC's right here. So that's the name of the issuer, and then we scroll down a little bit further, the name of the reporting person's BlackRock. Now, when we scroll down a little bit further, you can see here that the sole dispositive power is about 25 million, and the aggregate amount beneficially owned by each reporting person is about 25 million as well. Now, the percent of class presented by amount in row 9, which is these numbers right here, 4.9%. So now they have less than 5% ownership in AMC. Now, why is this so significant? Well, when we come over and take a look at Fintel over here, BlackRock, if we scroll up to the top, on their previous 13G filing, they had about 8.3% ownership with about 42 million shares. Well, that's very different than that 25 million share number. Now, when we think about kind of what's going on with BlackRock here and kind of this situation with all of these institutions, when we talk about institutions buying or selling shares, a lot of people like to bring up, well, they're just buying the shares to lend them out. And it's like, well, okay, fair. That might be a solid point, but you also have to think about the transactions that have taken place with BlackRock and a lot of these other large institutions, and when they were actually buying. BlackRock was making some of their largest actual purchases during the times when AMC was running the most. So at those higher prices, those 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. So their average is much higher than what we're trading at right now. You're not going to share lend your way out of a significant drop. When the stock was trading at 12, 13, 14, they're not going to be able to just lend out shares, collect the interest quickly to be able to kind of counteract the loss on those shares. And that's a lot of risks to take as an institution, to just buy something that inherently is going to be very volatile and have a lot of risk for the sole purpose of lending out a lot of those shares to people who are actually going to push the price of the stock down even more. That necessarily doesn't make any sense. But when you think about them actually deposing or disposing of this position, that in my mind, it kind of is a little bit interesting. BlackRock does own pretty much everything. When you take a look at like a lot of different institutional filings like 13Fs, 13Gs, BlackRock and Vanguard are going to be listed on most of them. Is this the best thing to be seeing right now, that a large institution, one of the largest funds, if not the largest fund in the world, is selling a significant portion? In my opinion, no, but it doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot. These institutions aren't necessarily going to be the ones that are going to be driving the price action in the way that a lot of people expect for AMC. It's not like there's going to be one large institution that comes in like BlackRock, buys a bunch of shares, and then we skyrocket. We have a long track record of fundamental growth and the different kind of pounces that Adam Aron has kind of planned for the community. And again, some of these institutions coming in and out, yeah, it might be important, but you have to think about who actually owns the vast majority of the shares. Is it institutions like BlackRock, or is it everyday retail investors like us? Well, the institutional or the actual ownership of AMC right now is mostly owned by retail investors anyway. So I don't really see this as that big of a deal going forward. Would I like BlackRock to still have a bunch of shares? In my opinion, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, you guys have heard this before. I don't really think that they're going to try and share lend their way out of a position that they are deep in the hole on. But again, everybody has their own opinion on that situation. So that's kind of going to wrap up this situation on AMC, BlackRock, the technicals, and kind of what I see for us going forward. If you guys did enjoy the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down there and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And again, if you do want to join the best place to come and learn how to trade, make sure you guys check out that link down below. Come in for a month. You guys definitely won't be disappointed. So that's going to wrap up this one for you guys tonight. Peace.